It goes without saying that there is no shortage of challenges ahead. For well over a decade now, Nigeria has been embroiled in a huge humanitarian emergency occasioned by the Boko Haram insurgency, sectarian crises, herders and farmers' clashes, man-made and natural disasters, banditry, erosion due to climate change, poverty, ignorance, economic inequality, and illiteracy. The fallout of these is that a refugee crisis of monumental proportions has occurred. Hundreds of thousands of helpless Nigerians have been displaced. With refugees spattered in Nigeria, these refugees desperately need food, shelter, healthcare, and humanitarian aid. When President Muhammadu Buhari then announced Sadiya Umar Farouk as the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Development, only a few people could truly comprehend the stretch of huge responsibilities and critical roles of this super powerful ministry. Sadiya Farouk, a one-time national treasurer of the All Progressives Congress, before her appointment as member APC Presidential Campaign Council, where she served in the Directorates of Election Planning and Monitoring, Field Operations and Fundraising, in preparation for the 2015 general elections, which the APC eventually won. In the APC government, Buhari appointed Hajiya Sadiya as Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons on September 26, 2016. At the Commission for Refugees, Sadiya developed a strategic roadmap of action to reposition the Commission as the lead government agency responsible for coordination, protection, and assistance of persons of concern. These milestones largely informed the decision to entrust Sadiya with the newly created mega ministry. The president has now tasked her to provide solutions to the plight of millions of internally displaced persons, as well as coordinate humanitarian affairs and social development in the country. The Zamfara state-born astute politician has gone all the way to repose the trust bestowed upon her by President Muhammadu Buhari. One of such legendary moments was her official visit to Ikede State on the 26th of November 2020 to launch a cash grant for rural women. The scheme purely targets rural women from the 16 local government areas of Ikede State. Hajiya Farouk, before now, has gone round other states on a similar trip in ensuring that the vulnerables in the society are not left out in the scheme. Attendees believe that the gesture will not only help the women grow their businesses, but will also help ease off the pressure of a turbulent 2020. That's not all. Hajiya Farouk still has more in her sleeves.
We are here today for the empowerment program facilitated by the president, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity, for this cash given to me to add to my business. I'm a fashion designer and I also sell fashion accessory. I'm going to use this money to get a mannequin for my business. I'm really grateful. I appreciate the Minister for Humanitarian. I appreciate the President.
Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Bàbá Buhari fún ìrànlọ́wọ́ tí wọ́n ṣe fún wa lórí iṣẹ́ wa. Àti Minister A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo wọn pé wọ́n ràn wá lọ́wọ́ láti pé kí iṣẹ́ wa kó lè máa tẹ̀síwájú. Àwọn náà máa tẹ̀síwájú o. A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Buhari, owó tán fún wa 20,000 wọ́n fi lé wa lọ́wọ́ o. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ mínísítà o. Wọ́n ní ká fi kún okòwò wa. Lórúkọ Jésù, a máa rí yín bá o.
A wá síbi láti wá gbowó tí bàbá Buhari fún wa láti support wa fún ọjà táǹtà 20,000 naira náà fún wa. So a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bàbá Buhari pé wọ́n ṣe o. Ìjọba wọn á túbọ̀ máa gòkè sí o. A tún dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ mínísítà náà pé wọ́n ṣe gan-an o.
Owó láti wá gba owó tí federal ní kó fún wa 20,000 mo ti rí gbà o, inú mi dùn gan.
Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bàbá wa Buhari àti mínísítà, yóò dára fún wọn o. Àyè tán lépa wọn ò débẹ̀ láyọ̀ àti àlàáfíà. Owó tán fún wa 20,000 mo dúpẹ́ púpọ̀ lọ́wọ́ wọn o. Wọ́n ní ká fi máa ṣiṣẹ́.
À ń dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bàbá wa Buhari fún ìkúnnilókun láti fún wa ní owó láti fi jọyìn owó tá a fi ń ṣòwò tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ àti àwọn ministers tí wọ́n jọ parapọ̀ láti rántí wa sí rere. Ọlọ́run á rántí àwọn náà sí rere. Ìjọba wọn ò ní bàjẹ́. Lágbára Ọlọ́run tó máa ṣe yìí wọ́n á tún ṣe míì sí àṣeṣe tún ṣe.
At a point when gender-based violence and sexual abuse is still being fiercely fought against, the COVID-19 pandemic and the stay-at-home order by government only empowered abusers to unleash terror on their helpless victims.
I'm so happy to be here today to witness what is going on. The distribution of money to our, indigens from Ekiti, to empower them economically at this point in time. I think this is the best thing that can happen to an average Ekiti woman at this point in time. So when I go in there and I saw most of my women from Ekiti, from Ekiti, I was so elated. And they are so happy. You could see it written on their faces as they are counting their money and they are running back home to use the money to do petty trades.
And I believe this program will go a long way in alleviating poverty among our people. All these old women are very happy. Some of them need money to buy drugs. Some of them need money to cater for themselves. You see, they are old. And the young ones amongst them are jobless. And with this token the federal government has given them and the minister, and I believe it will go a long way. They are happy. The people of Ekiti State are happy. They appreciate the president. They appreciate the minister. They appreciate their leaders for what they have done for them, for bringing these projects to Ekiti State.
I want to enjoin them to use this fund, which they are taking now, to use it judiciously, because the fund is not meant for Ashoebi. The fund is not meant for any other thing. They are expected to use it to start a trade if they don't have one already. And if they have any trade in their hand, they should use the fund to uplift their trade. They should increase in whatever they are doing.
Consequently, in one of our similar trips, Hajia Farouk led her team to commission a state-of-the-art 208-bed transit homes for victims of domestic violence and abuse in Ekiti State. Well attended by dignitaries, notably the Executive Governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, and his wife, Erelu Besi Fayemi, the Senior Special Assistant to President Buhari on Sustainable Development Goals, Princess Adejoke Adefulire, among others. The model is aimed at providing lifelong skills for adaptive and positive behavior for abused women and girls to enable them deal effectively with the demands and challenges of everyday life.
This 208-bed transit home we are commissioning today is designed to support victims of violence and abuse in Ekiti State. The transit home today before you is fully equipped and its facility is a modest habitat. It's a safe haven for women. Evidently, the implementation of noble strategy is directly linked to achievement of goal 3, quality health and well-being for all ages, and SDG 5, achieving gender equality and empowerment all women and girls. It also speaks to goal 10, reducing inequality, goal 16, peace, justice and strong institution, and goal 17, partnership for the goals, meaning that the federal government is partnering with the state government to achieve all the SDG goals as related to women. As we commission this facility by the Honorable Minister for Humanitarian Affairs and Social Development, along with the Governor of Ekiti State, we want to appeal to the Governor of Ekiti State to continue to prioritize issues relating to women as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is zoned. I'm sure working together will give us a lot of mileage to protect women
a clear demonstration of President Muhammad Buhari's administration's commitment to the achievement of the global goals. Therefore, this facility is being commissioned at the right time, considering the impact of COVID-19 lockdown on women and girls, which led to the increase in gender-based violence during the lockdown. Other unexpected outcomes of COVID-19 include the increase in sexual abuse, rape, unintended pregnancy, loss of jobs, and poor access to healthcare services, etc. Only recently, our sister ministry, the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, and our development partners launched a coherent dashboard for tracking and monitoring cases of violence and abuse against women in our society. On our part, the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development will continue to develop and support policies that will ensure more protection for women and girls and implement a broader social investment program in support of the poor and vulnerable members of the Nigerian society, including women and girls. The federal government of Nigeria will continue to partner with the subnational governments to prioritize issues relating to women and girls. Mr. President has approved funds to support micro, small, and medium enterprises to mitigate the effect of COVID-19, which affected women disproportionately. Women have a special place in President Muhammad Buhari's administration, and more resources are invested to empower women and enable them achieve their full potential, support their husbands, and the educational development of their children. This will certainly reduce domestic violence at homes.
Honourable Minister, I'm here with you alongside other people to join you in commissioning what I consider to be a much more longer-term response to gender-based violence in our society, which is the Transit Home Shelter and Skills Acquisition Center for Women. This is a 200-bed facility designed to support victims of abuse in our state. A safe haven for our women, which helps to respond to a number of the SDG goals. And from what I have gathered from the SSA to Mr. President on on Sustainable Development Goals, it does not only contain the 208-bed facility, it also has an administrative block, it has a creche for the women, it has a skill center, and has a 200-room facility for meetings and engagement. And I want to let you know, I'm not letting the cat out of the bag. What you're seeing here is just the tip of the iceberg in what she's going to do for us in Ekiti State. As events unfold, you will see other things that would give you a sense of gratitude, even more than you are now, for what she has done. This morning, she has gone around the state to commission a number of projects already. She's given us 12 ambulances from the SDG today, giving us 100 beds for our various primary health centers, giving us thousands of face masks. For those of you who think COVID is over, I want to thank my boss, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, for his passionate commitment to the rights of women, and for choosing women of substance to superintend the affairs relating to these issues in the federal cabinet. Not least, my sister, Hajia Sadiya Umar Farouk, the Honorable Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Development.
The facility contains an administrative block, a crèche for women, 250-seated conference hall, 200 rooms facility for meetings and engagements, and a skill acquisition center. In appreciation, the First Lady of Ekiti State, Erelu Besi Fayemi thanked Hajiya Farouk for her kind gesture towards Ekiti State.
Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister, thank you very much for all your support, for approving this project for us in Ekiti State. And so it is our prayer, Honorable Minister, that you continue to support the efforts of His Excellency, our Governor, so that our Governor can continue to make life better for citizens of Ekiti State, particularly women. We promise to take adequate care of this facility, and we promise to make it a place, even though it breaks my heart that we have to have places like a sexual assault referral center, like what we commissioned yesterday, and a transit home for women who are abused and their children. We also accept that this is the reality of the world that we live in. And as a responsible government, we have to make these facilities available for our citizens. So thank you very much, Madam. Thank you very much, Your Excellency Orelope. We are very grateful. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, our Governor. God bless you. Thank you.
Hajiya Farouk says the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development will continue to develop and support policies that will ensure more protection for women and girls, and also implement a broader social investment program in support of the poor and vulnerable members of the Nigerian society.
Nigeria will continue to support the United Nations in all its efforts, including the attainment of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. I thank you.
Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind. Agenda 2030. As a successor framework for the Millennium Development Goals, the global community rolled out a bigger, deeper, and more encompassing framework called the Sustainable Development Goals, designed to transform our world, lift the poor out of poverty, as well as ensure inclusive and healthy society. On Agenda 2030, we take you on a media trip to the global destination of the future we want. With everyone on board, we focus on the people and their struggle, the civil society and their agitations, the government and her development effort, the Global Development Agenda, its 17 goals and 169 targets. We bring you all the deliberations, insightful conversations, and high-level partnerships on the road to global destination. Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
Another potent question that many concerned stakeholders are keen for answers is what plans does government have for women and girls with disability in a country where little or no attention is paid? The statistics really is less encouraging, as an estimated 1 in 5 women with disabilities, and the prevalence of disability is actually higher among women than men. Contributing factors include the lower economic and social status of women and girls, gender-based violence, and harmful or gender discriminatory practices. Yet, women and girls with disabilities remain at the margins of decision-making and work on gender equality. For too long, the specific needs of women with disabilities have been invisible, both to the advocates of women's rights and those of disability rights. The horrific fact is that women and girls with disabilities are 2 to 3 times more likely to experience gender-based violence than women without disabilities, which makes it even worse. A coalition of persons with disabilities and other stakeholders met with the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajiya Sadiya Umaru Farouk, where they raised their voices to advance the rights of women and girls with disabilities in the society. According to them, the ugly trend needs to be put to a halt, as the opinions that many have about PWDs are far from the truth.
The reason why we are struggling even in various levels of intervention is because there are no data. The importance of data cannot be overemphasized. And I want to thank you for giving us a listening ear. this is a very trying time. For you to stick out your neck to come and hold this meeting shows how passionate you are to the community.
We, the Coalition of Disability Organizations, thank you for granting us audience at this epoch-making stakeholders meeting. The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 through our ministry should present a clear-cut plan on how to provide palliatives for persons with disabilities, and the provision of the palliatives should start immediately because persons with disabilities are most vulnerable amongst the social groups. I must commend you, ma'am, for you have started that indeed. Please, a round of applause for the Honourable Minister in that regard.
Hajia Farouk noted that PWDs in the society today are faced with many barriers to inclusion in all aspects of societal life and do not enjoy full access on an equal basis with others, especially in the areas of transportation, healthcare, employment, education, as well as social and political participation.
This gathering today is indeed crucial as the welfare and concern of our PWDs in Nigeria cannot really be overemphasized. The present administration of His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari has placed priority on assisting persons with disabilities by coming up with policies and programs which, when executed by the ministry, will ensure inclusion, protection, and improve the well-being of all persons with disabilities in the country. Following the creation of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development on 21st August 2019, one of the mandates of the ministry is to develop persons with disabilities friendly policies and attend to their welfare. Presently, we note that persons with disabilities in our society today are faced with many barriers to inclusion in all aspects of societal life. As a result, persons with disabilities do not enjoy full access to social life on an equal basis with others, especially in the areas of transportation, healthcare, employment, education, as well as social and political participation. To address this on my assumption of duty as the Honourable Minister of this ministry, I immediately appointed a special assistant on special needs to coordinate and liaise with persons with disabilities across the country. One of the outcomes of this action is this meeting today, which will brainstorm on how to cater for the welfare of these persons with disabilities in tandem with the mandate of the ministry on our social welfare intervention. That is also to say that the ministry has a department whose responsibility is to really coordinate all these affairs of our persons of concern, especially our persons living with disabilities.
With this enormous challenge staring Nigerians in the face, President Muhammadu Buhari had set up the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, with the appointment of the board and executive secretary of the commission, signifying the takeoff of the commission under the able leadership of the Honourable Minister Sadiya Farouk. The commission is also responsible for the education, health, economic and civil rights of PWDs. Hajia Sadiya reiterated that the federal government is committed towards enhancing the living conditions of all Nigerians, especially the vulnerable in the society.